They say one mistake can define a player, but what happens when that same player fights back to rewrite his story? Tyrique Stevenson is heading straight back to the scene of one of the most painful moments of his career, the place where that unforgettable Hail Mary fell right over his head. But this time, he's not running from it, he's ready for redemption. Before we dive into this powerful comeback story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest NFL updates. Now, let's move on to the new news. Tyrique Stevenson has recently opened up about that infamous play, the one that haunted him ever since Washington last year. For the first time, he's spoken honestly about how it affected him, both on Kevin Byard's podcast and in an interview with The Athletic. He admitted how tough it was to watch fans define him by a single moment, one bad play out of dozens of solid performances. But instead of hiding from it, Tyrique faced it head-on. He said he watches that clip again and again, not to relive the pain, but to remind himself what never to do again. In his own words, he said it was a selfish moment, one that taught him the hard way about focus, effort, and humility. And whether you believe in karma or not, that play changed him. It lit a fire inside a fire we've seen in his last few games, where he's been playing with intensity, control, and pride. Now, he's returning to that same field, not as a victim of a mistake, but as a man on a mission. And this week, he's got the chance to silence the critics once and for all. So, stay with me, because this redemption story is just getting started. That moment still burns in Tyrique Stevenson's memory, not just because of the loss, but because of how it happened. Right before the Hail Mary, he was caught jawing with fans in the stands, losing focus for just a second. Then came the snap, and in a flash, everything unraveled. Instead of holding his position as the last line of defense, Tyrique sprinted forward, trying to make a play that wasn't his to make. He reached up, tipped the ball, and straight into the hands of Noah Brown, who made the catch that sealed the heartbreak. It was the kind of mistake that teaches you everything the hard way, a moment where emotion took over discipline. He tried to do too much, and it cost his team the game. And to be fair, the coaching decisions that night didn't help either. But what stands out now is not the failure, it's how much he's grown since that night. Tyrique has always been a fiery competitor, the kind of guy who plays right on the edge and sometimes crosses it. We saw it before with the shoves, the trash talk, even a few personal fouls that got people talking. He's had those moments, poking at receivers, drawing flags, things that showed passion but sometimes crossed the line. But this year? It's different. He's playing with controlled aggression, sharper focus, and quiet confidence. He's not out there trying to prove he's tough, he's showing it through discipline and smart football. In his recent interview, Tyrique admitted something powerful. He said that after that Hail Mary, he stopped playing to make plays and started playing just to avoid mistakes. He became cautious, second-guessing himself, holding back instead of trusting his instincts. And that mindset can destroy a player. But the fact that he recognizes it now? That's the first step toward real maturity. What we're seeing today isn't the same Tyrique Stevenson who looked lost in that Washington game. This is a guy who's learned, who's growing, and who's finding the balance between passion and control. So stay with me, because this story of growth and redemption is far from over. Tyrique Stevenson knew he was good enough. But after that one mistake, he stopped playing like it. He said he felt like he was walking on eggshells, scared to mess up instead of confident enough to make plays. And honestly, anyone who watched the Bears last season could see it. That one game didn't just hurt the team, it shook Tyrique to his core. Before that Hail Mary moment, he looked sharp. Not perfect, but solid. Then everything changed. The swagger disappeared. The confidence was gone. You could see him hesitating, second-guessing himself on every snap. But football has a way of testing you until you either break or bounce back. And in the final game against Green Bay, something seemed to click again. The Bears won, and for the first time in weeks, Tyrique looked like himself, aggressive, locked in, and fearless. That game might have been the quiet turning point heading into the offseason. When this year began, Tyrique had to fight for his starting spot. Nothing was handed to him. But he earned it. And over the past few weeks, with Jalen Johnson sidelined and the defense desperate for a leader, Stevenson stepped up in a big way. He's been targeted 12 times, and only 3 of those passes were caught. That's elite cornerback work. And remember, this came right after he got absolutely lit up by Detroit. He couldn't stop St. Brown or Jameson Williams that night, it was ugly. A lot of people started to wonder if maybe this was it for him, if that confidence would ever come back. But Tyrique refused to stay down. Instead, he came back sharper, hungrier, and tougher than ever. That diving interception off Geno Smith? That wasn't luck. That was a statement, a reminder that he still belongs here. He's got that edge again, that quiet swagger that corners need to survive in the NFL. Maybe a little too much confidence at times, but honestly, that's part of what makes him who he is. You can't play this position scared, and Tyrique Stevenson is finally playing fearless again. So stay with me, because his story of redemption is only getting more inspiring from here. One of the best things about Tyrique Stevenson has always been his mindset. Even when he got beat on a play, he'd come right back ready for the next one. That next play mentality, that's what made him special during his rookie year. But after that heartbreaking night in Washington, something changed. The confidence faded. The swagger was gone. You could almost feel the hesitation in his body language, like he was carrying that mistake with him every snap. That's why what we're seeing now matters so much. It's not just about good numbers or a few highlight plays. It's about Tyrique finally shaking off the shadow of that one moment and finding himself again. And now, fate has brought him right back to Washington, the place where it all started to unravel. This time, though, he's walking in with a clear head and a chip on his shoulder. There's something poetic about this kind of moment in football when a player faces the very field that broke him, but steps onto it stronger than ever before. Stevenson isn't just returning for another game. He's returning for redemption. And make no mistake, he knows what this means. He's not the same young player who lost focus that night. He's smarter, tougher, and calmer under pressure. This is his chance to close the chapter the right way. So stay with me, because Tyrique Stevenson's return to Washington might just be the defining moment of his comeback story. Ben Johnson couldn't hide his excitement when talking about Tyrique Stevenson's recent performances, and honestly, who could blame him? After that incredible showing against the Raiders, it finally feels like Stevenson is becoming the player everyone believed he could be. Johnson said he's been watching the same work ethic all season long, but now the results are catching up. The confidence is building. The game is slowing down for him. And the way he described it, you can tell he truly believes Tyrique is evolving into a complete cornerback. And the numbers back it up. His coverage has been airtight, receivers can't get separation, and quarterbacks are starting to think twice before throwing his way. Against the Raiders, he wasn't just good, he was dominant. A near-perfect performance in coverage, breaking up passes, snatching an interception, and earning one of the highest defensive grades of the week. That's the kind of game that turns heads across the league. What's always made Tyrique special isn't just his athletic gifts, though he's got plenty of those. He's got the size, the speed, the strength, and the mindset of a player who refuses to back down. Even as a rookie, when he was getting beat on plays, he never shied away from tackling. That physical, fearless edge has always been part of who he is. It's easy to forget that before Miami, he actually played safety at Georgia. That background shaped his toughness, taught him how to read the field, and made him the kind of corner who loves contact. And now, in a press-heavy defensive system, that physicality fits him perfectly. He's not just covering receivers, he's disrupting their rhythm, bullying them off the line, and making them earn every inch. It's taken time, patience, and humility, but Tyrique Stevenson is finally turning the corner, literally and figuratively. He's no longer the rookie haunted by one play. He's the confident defender rewriting his own story one snap at a time. This weekend could be the final piece of that redemption, the full circle moment. Sure, that Hail Mary clip will live forever. But Tyrique's proving something even stronger. One play doesn't define you, how you respond to it does. So stay with me, because the way this story ends might just surprise everyone watching. This week isn't just another game for Tyrique Stevenson, it's the moment he's been waiting for. A strong performance here, especially if the Bears pull off a win, could finally close the book on that haunting Hail Mary once and for all. Sure, that clip will always live on in highlight reels and Commanders history. It'll get replayed every now and then, that's just how football works. But for Bears fans, for Tyrique himself, this could be the week where we stop talking about it entirely. It becomes part of the past, something that happened under a struggling team and a different era. Now, Tyrique's stepping back into that same stadium with a completely different energy. This time, he's walking in smiling, confident, and ready to walk out the same way. His own words say it best, I'm fixing to write the best chapter yet, the fact that I'm walking back in there with a smile and ready to walk out with one. That's not just talk. That's growth. That's maturity. What's clear now is that Tyrique understands the difference between passion and control. He knows he can make this game personal without letting emotions spill over. He's learned how to channel that fire, not to fight, not to show off, but to focus and dominate. The key for him now is simple: stay locked in. No distractions, no unnecessary risks. Just play your game, do your job, and trust your preparation. That's what great corners do. They don't chase redemption through anger, they earn it through discipline. And if Tyrique does exactly that, if he walks into Washington, plays with swagger, and locks down that field, this could be the night he finally buries the ghosts of last season and proves that one play doesn't define his legacy. So stay with me, because what's coming next might be the most satisfying redemption moment of Tyrique Stevenson's career. This week's matchup could define a turning point, not just for the Bears, but for Tyrique Stevenson himself. Because if Terry McLaurin suits up for Washington, that's the showdown everyone will be watching. If I'm Dennis Allen, I'm handing Tyrique one assignment: shadow number 17 all night. Let him feel that weight, because players like Tyrique feed off that challenge. He's confident, physical, and he thrives when the lights are brightest. And honestly, it's a matchup that plays into his strengths. McLaurin's not the kind of twitchy, quick-cut receiver that's given Tyrique trouble before. He's more of a technician, a smart, route-running receiver who wins with timing and body control. That's the kind of battle Tyrique can dominate if he stays focused and trusts his instincts. So if I'm the Bears, I'm saying, let's lean into it. Let Tyrique's confidence carry him. Let him play his game. Don't hold him back, because redemption doesn't come from hiding, it comes from stepping straight into the fire. And make no mistake, this is that fire. After everything that's been said, every replay that's been shown, this is his moment to rewrite the narrative. You don't get many second chances in the NFL, but when you do, they define you. If Tyrique can go toe-to-toe with McLaurin, if he can shut him down and help Chicago pull out a win, that would send a message louder than any interview or stat sheet ever could: he's back, and he's better. As for the Bears, there's cautious optimism. They've got momentum coming out of the bye, 2 straight wins under their belt, and a defense that's finally finding rhythm. Washington's a tough opponent, no doubt, and it's a road game. Nothing easy about that. But confidence? It's growing. You can feel it. The locker room's energy is different. This team knows what's at stake, and they're ready to fight for it. Because in football, just like in life, all you can ask for is one chance to redeem yourself. And this week, the Bears and Tyrique Stevenson have exactly that.